Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Will, and recently I've just been thinking about all of the blessings that life has happened to bestow upon me. One of which, of course, is my job and my ability to work in the service industry and serve people every day who definitely don't treat me like a big old pile of trash. Anyone who's ever worked in the service industry knows that working a customer service type of job is an experience, to say the least. To say the very least. We put on a smile and a happy little voice just to serve people who don't even want to treat us like we're human. I've always felt like everybody should be obligated to work a customer service type job at least once in their lives, because until it's your life being personally threatened over a packet of barbecue sauce, you'll never get it. I worked at various different fast food restaurants, eventually leading up to the place that I work at now, and every place I think has just progressively gotten worse in terms of the type of people that I'm forced to interact with. And all of these jobs just constantly remind me of my personal golden rule, which is that people fucking suck. There are just assholes lurking everywhere, hiding in the shadows, just waiting for their moment to make you feel terrible. And I'm not just referring to the customers in regards to these types of jobs either. I've worked with my fair share of people who are complete assholes as well, and I just wonder how. But today I thought it would be fun to do one of my favorite things, which is determining who the asshole is in various different situations, and do another installment of Reddit's Am I the Asshole? Customer Service Edition. This first story says, am I the asshole for letting customers cut another customer in line because she was taking too long? Before I start, always love when they start with that disclaimer, I would just like to say that I kind of lack patience. I'm not a patient person, but I do try. As long as you're trying, that's all that really counts, right? So I work at a Subway, and today we had a bunch of customers come in. There's only 2 people who work one shift at a time, so this huge batch of customers was a challenge for us. Fortunately for us, my coworker and I were able to make these sandwiches pretty fast and get the line going. Then this woman and her 5 kids are next. Red flags already. Huge red flags. I'm working on her while my coworker is dealing with a difficult customer on register. This lady doesn't know what she wants. You'd think the 10 minutes she spent waiting in line would be enough time for her to know what her and her kids want to eat. She takes her time looking at the menu while her kids are screaming and playing. She then starts asking common sense questions like, what's the chicken bacon ranch sandwich? It's chicken, bacon, then ranch, ma'am. Oh, I see. And then she continues looking at the menu some more. See, my social anxiety would never let me do this. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going to be checking the menu online ahead of time and figuring out what I want to eat, and then that will be the meal that I eat at that place anytime I go there, indefinitely. At this point, I already lost my patience. I'm tapping my finger on the cutting board while waiting for her to decide. I throw some options out for her. She takes none of them and then decides to call her husband because, in her own words, maybe he would like something to eat here too. She then tells her kids to start ordering something, and the kids are like ages 3 to 8. They're saying over and over, and then they start throwing out words like bacon and steak and lettuce. And at this point, I want to bash my head on the screen. I try directing them to what they might like, but they lose focus and start asking what chips we have. More people are coming through the door, and the people in line are getting frustrated. Then a man behind the lady says to me, hey, my sandwich is really quick, can I order it right now? I say sure and finish his sandwich within a minute. My coworker finishes with the difficult lady and begins to ring this man out. Another person behind the lady and her 5 kids also say that they have a simple order, so I do theirs too. More and more customers say the same thing, and I'm finishing these bad boys left to right while my coworker rings them out. After about the 5th customer, the lady with the 5 kids gets off her phone and she's just looking at me silently. I say, are you ready to order now? And she says, I found it extremely disrespectful of you to work on other customers while I was clearly right here first and my kids haven't even finished ordering. You lack customer service and you need to know what respect is. I told her that she wasn't even ready and that her kids couldn't order by themselves and that she should be more prepared next time. Take other people's time into consideration. She then said a few choice words to me and grabbed her kids and left. I told my friend about it and she was on her side. Now I don't know if I was the a-hole or not. I'm thinking that my lack of patience caused me to overact and do something that I shouldn't have done. So, am I the asshole? Struggling to see what you shouldn't have done. Because typically I feel like it's common courtesy that if someone steps up to the line and isn't actually ready to order, they step back and let somebody else place the order, because this is absolutely ridiculous to me. I feel like people shouldn't be allowed to just hold up the line like that. And it's one thing if you're going to take a second to consider the menu, but if you're going to hold up a huge line of people because you can't decide what you want, you're the asshole. One thing that also will just send me into a fit of rage is when people come up to me, start a conversation with me, and then proceed to get on their damn phone. Like if someone comes up to me and orders and then is like, hold on a second, I need to see what someone else wants. Okay. I lose my shit because you had the time in the car. You had your time getting here. Why are you just now deciding to see if your best friend Brenda wants a sandwich? Like, and I feel like this was handled absolutely correctly. Genuinely, it makes me wonder, how long was she supposed to fucking wait then? Like, how long was she supposed to sit there and let this lady stand on the phone while the line grew behind her? Would she also have not been considered the asshole if she was like, no sir, you can't order, we need to wait for this lady? It's just insane to me, not the asshole. This next story says, am I the asshole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I'm a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work the weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager, but it's not a real former thing. He's a friendly guy. Just in case you were wondering, he is, in fact, a friendly guy. Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown-ass man taking out your anger on high school and college kids? So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, sir, is there a problem here? And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was just like, oh, Pete, this is unacceptable. You're fired. I started acting real sad. No, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job, please. And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take my apron off and leave. Angry guy started to backtrack, like, it isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it. And James was like, no, we pride ourselves on the best customer service. Of course, after all that drama, I still had my job. We were just acting. And we've done it a couple times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I, James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time the person who would come in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying making people realize that their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friend from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they got someone who desperately needs the money fired. Am I the asshole for this joke? Well, if it isn't the actions of your own consequences,
You stupid.
I'm also gonna go on this one and say, not the asshole. This time it might be a joke, but I can't even imagine the countless people who have actually been fired because people complaining over stuff that doesn't matter. And I don't think there's any harm in making people see that the things they do have consequences. I think it's funny that the friend thinks it's a mean prank to let them go away thinking they got someone who desperately needs the money fired, and I'm like, that's the fucking point. I hope they do feel bad, because maybe if they feel bad about it in this circumstance, maybe next time they won't overreact so much and they'll handle the situation better in the first place instead of trying to get somebody fired. Chances are, if you're gonna say, oh, it's not a big deal anyways, then it's probably not. People are just entitled and they think that they can get away with whatever they want. One thing I always thought was crazy about like working some of the fast food jobs of my past is like customers can just come in and say, you messed this up, and we were automatically just entitled to like make up whatever they wanted without even any proof. Like my last job, someone could say, you missed my sandwich, and then our management would be like, okay, make a sandwich. Sometimes they truly went with the customer's always right ideology, and it was so irritating because sometimes you could be looking them dead in the face and be like, I know I got your shit correct, but then they'd still turn around and get whatever they wanted. I think it's good to serve them a little slice of humble pie once in a while and show them that the things that they do have an effect on other people. Not the asshole. I wish I could do this at my job. Next up, am I the asshole for snitching on a coworker for spitting on a customer's food? Oh boy. I work as a server at a popular chain restaurant. Last Saturday, it was a very stressful day as we were extremely busy. One of my coworkers, let's call her Tanya, was in an especially bad mood due to the amount of customers assigned to her section. Felt that. The issue started when one of the customers ordered chicken strips with buffalo sauce on the side. As Tanya was walking out with her tray of food, the sauce dish tipped over and spilled some of the buffalo sauce over the customer's fries and baked potato. I think she didn't think it was a big deal to have some hot sauce on her potato, so she brought it to the customer anyway. The customer eventually called her back. I thought I heard the door. Moving along. The customer eventually called her back and asked for new fries and a new potato because they didn't want buffalo sauce all over their food. Tanya came back into the kitchen unreasonably upset. She was complaining about spoiled people, wasting food, extra work, and things like that. Tanya sounds like a bitch. The cook made a new plate of food, and as Tanya was walking out of the kitchen, she stuck out her tongue and spit little flecks of spit all over the customer's food. I was shocked because I'd never actually seen someone do that in real life. I thought that was kind of a thing that only happened in movies and TV shows. I was even more surprised that she did it during a pandemic. So Tanya really is absolutely insane. As much as I might hate you, your food is safe with me, alright? This is insane to me. At the end of my shift, I told my boss what I saw, and he had a talk with Tanya afterwards. Now, everyone I work with knows I did this since my boss told Tanya that I saw her spit on the food. They're all calling me a snitch. Tanya herself calls me the snitch if she ever has to refer to me, and she no longer speaks to me at all. I believe even my boss isn't happy that I snitched, though. Even though he hasn't said anything directly. I just feel a whole different vibe from him now. It's gotten to the point where I basically lost all my work friends due to snitching. I'm not sure they'll ever get over it because of how legitimately upset everyone is. I'm considering finding a new job because it's gotten so bad. Am I the asshole for snitching? Should I have just talked to Tanya privately and not told her boss? What the actual fuck is going on here is what I want to know. You're not the asshole for the act of snitching, no, but you are the asshole for waiting until your shift was over. You're the asshole for letting Tanya still deliver the food. Also, all of your coworkers and your boss are also assholes. How are you gonna like gang up on somebody and be mad at somebody for tattling when it was a food safety hazard at a food-based job? How are you all gonna gang up and be like, oh my god, you told that Tanya spit in a customer's food? How dare you? What? Literally all sound like petty little high schoolers just ganging up and choosing somebody to be mad at for the day. How do people like this really exist? So, like, why would you ever go up to a person who did something wrong and be like, Rebecca's the one who told me that you did this? Why? Why? Because it causes issues like this where one employee resents another. Second, why is everyone taking Tanya's side and being like, yeah, Becky's a snitch bitch, Becky, that's her now. But then also, I just made up the name Becky, I don't even know. Why is Becky being like, I saw this happen, but you know what? Here's the food for the customers. I'm not gonna say anything until it's over. Words. People make me lose my words. Everyone sucks in this situation. Find a new job. Next time you see something like that, tell immediately. Don't let the customer still get it, maybe. Am I the asshole for coping with rude customers in my own way? Hi. I love how it starts off with just hi. So I've been working at a popular restaurant for the past couple of years. Throughout the first couple of months, I was still getting used to how rude customers can be, and the policy here prevents me from kicking them out or dealing with them in any way. Those kinds of customers are very common and especially annoying on days where I'm already in a bad mood. I'm a single mother and I'm stressed out most of the time while trying to provide for my kid. It makes most days difficult. Over my time spent working, I've learned a couple ways to help de-stress during an intense work day and helps me avoid exploding at certain customers. I have to deal with low-key rude behavior like side-eyeing and disrespectful tones to outright screaming. One of the previous employees showed me a few ways to mess with their food without affecting the way the food tastes. For example, I'd spit into some foods if they were greasy enough, or I'd lick the lettuce, or small things like that. The past few weeks have been especially hard with corona. Some people refuse to wear masks and get offended if I'm wearing one, so they've been my primary targets. I was recently talking to my friend and the topic of rude customers came up, and I mentioned how dealing with them helps me distress. My friend was shocked and told me how it's wrong to do that and all that crap. If I'm not affecting their experience in any way, why should the way I de-stress matter? Anyways, this led to a huge argument and now I'm kind of doubting myself. So am I the asshole? Are you the asshole? Is that even a question? I de-stress from customers by going to the walk-in and crying. What? I feel like the single mother thing was unnecessary because you're just throwing that in there to try and justify it, like spitting in customers' food. Like, I'm a single mom, I'm stressed, so I can do this and I can cope like this. And I'm not trying to discredit the work that parents do, and I'm not trying to discredit the fact that it's difficult. Doesn't mean you get to do this though. And if it's that bad, you should find a different sort of job that doesn't deal with this, because I know that customers are insane. But this person sounds like they just get pissed off about anything. Like, they even have a slight tone in their voice that they don't like. They're like, you know what? I'm licking your lettuce, bitch. And that's concerning to me. Well, I even know that I lose patience and I get irritated with people. I know that you have to have a certain amount of just, it is what it is, to get through these types of jobs. Well, I don't think it makes customers just berating people doing their jobs okay. I understand that when I'm getting into another one of these jobs, that there's gonna be people who suck like this, and that you still have to treat them with respect and professionality, even if you don't want to. Deal with them kindly, cry about it in the walk-in later. Like, don't lick their lettuce, don't spit in their food, cry about it later. I also find it so ironic that they're like, these people are like mocking me for wearing a mask, being safe during the pandemic, and then you're gonna go and spit in someone's food during the same aforementioned pandemic. This just reinforces in my mind why people are disgusting and people suck. You're definitely the asshole, and I hate how you just consider this dealing with customers in your own way. Find another way then. I don't know what to tell you. Also, the fact that this was learned by a previous employer or employee is kind of disturbing to me. Like, hi, I'm Linda, I'm training you today. So when a customer pisses you off, we're gonna lick their lettuce. Like, no. Get over yourself. Stop licking the customer's lettuce. You're the asshole. And our last story for today is, am I the asshole for telling a customer, fuck you, in front of his kids? I was serving tables at IHOP for a while, and on my last day, because I was moving, I took a Ford top with a dad, a mom, a daughter 9, and a son 7. They sit down, and before I can greet them, I'm told by the father, it's way too cold in here, can't you do something about that? To which I responded, I can't control the thermostat, but I'll go ask my manager. Can I get you guys some drinks in the meantime? And he responded, no, we'll wait for the temperature to be fixed. I walked back to my manager and told them the situation. My manager informed me we couldn't change the temperature. It was set at 74 because of corporate policy or whatever. I informed the customers of this, and they reluctantly gave me their drink orders. I brought them drinks and took their order, where the dad ordered his eggs over easy. Minor detail, but it's a big problem later. The 4 of them ordered 6 plates of food. Unfortunately, I can't carry 6 plates in my hand like other servers can, so I brought them out 3 in the first trip and 3 in the second trip. The moment I set down the final plates, before I could even ask if they would like any condiments, I'm asked, why would you bring them out in this order? That's ridiculous. Obviously, I told him there wasn't an order, I just can't carry 6 plates at once. And he responded, whatever, just get me ketchup, and physically snapped at me. At this point, I was certain I was getting a 0 tip, and it was my last day on the job, so I didn't care anymore. I brought him the ketchup, and I started to walk away as my final interaction with them, as I was more inclined to serve my other tables, when he screams at me from across the restaurant, hey, you, dude, hey. I walk over, what do you need? I said, these eggs aren't cooked all the way through. Looks at him like, duh, how did you want them cooked? Over easy. Yeah, by definition, over easy is not all the way cooked through, bro. That's funny. Bro. I was kind of giving him attitude by this point. But I offered to go get him some over medium eggs, and I actually did for some reason. Because it's your job. Even if you don't like it, like, it's still, technically it's still what you're getting paid to do. I know that they're mean, but when I get back to the table to give him his eggs, he goes, dude, I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything, but like, is there something wrong with you, like, mentally? I'm legit shocked I didn't sock this dude in the face. I promptly responded a quick fuck you. The daughter, 9, was completely oblivious to this interaction, asked, can I get some sour cream, to which I said definitely not, and walked away. They obviously called over my manager, who comped their meal for them because she had the customer's always right philosophy. Then they left, and I refused to leave the kitchen. I couldn't even look at them. I told my manager the story and the interaction, but she told me it was horrible to tell the guy fuck you in front of his 2 kids, and despite what led me to telling him to do so. So, am I the asshole? I'm gonna go ahead and say no for the most part, because sometimes people do push your breaking point, and this guy was being harsh. And you can't just ask the person serving you if there's something wrong with them, because the customer is the one who ordered wrong in the first place. I do think the person telling the story is funny. It's just like, that's what it means, bro. Like, that sounds so weird. I would never just talk to a customer like that. I do think it was a little rude to just refuse to give the kid sour cream, though. Like, the kid didn't do it, the dad did. And if you're really that angry, I'd step aside, get somebody else, and have them finish the encounter rather than just straight up being like, no, to a 9-year-old kid. But in the long run, I don't think this person is the asshole. Customers really do have a way of just pushing you to your limits and making you snap sometimes. And I think I too would snap if someone asked me if I had mental challenges. So that is going to be all for this edition of Am I the Asshole? Moral of the video, don't spit in people's food no matter how irritated you are. Just don't do it. Also, the customer is not always right. But that is going to be all for this video, and I'll see you guys in my next.